Cameraman Grades, cameramangrades.com. How to film football, training and professional consultations for camera operators, video coordinators, and sports video professionals at all levels. Find us at cameramangrades.com or contact us directly at cameramangrades@gmail.com to improve your team's coaching video. Currently looking for the best camera operator of the 2025 NFL season. These are the best of the best, and we are putting it to the test. Today we are looking at the Baltimore Ravens, Week 8 of 2025 versus the Chicago Bears. Here we go. Okay, zooming out to keep the kicker in the shot. Zooming back in to get tight. Here we go. Nice. Very, very usable. Looks good. Okay. Alright. Tight within 10 yards both directions. They went side to side, top to bottom. Okay. You can see there, they're a little higher than the chains on that side. Within 10 yards behind the quarterback, within 10 yards behind the safety. That's usable footage for teams to be able to work off of. Okay? Alright, getting a little bit tighter this time, within 5 yards both directions. But backing off immediately on a run is just going to gain that space right back. Okay? So if you're going to zoom up to get tighter before the snap, then if you're zooming out on the very first motion that you see is going to cause that wider gap then. Okay? Alright, so this is tight all the way through. Alright? So here's the difference, right? Instead of 10 yards, we've got 5 yards behind the running back, close to 5 yards behind the safety. Okay? Yeah, less than 5 yards both directions now. And there you go. Okay, we got 2 yards, 4 yards, 4 yards, 4 yards. Nice and tight all the way through. All right, and now the safety steps up, but the receiver takes that spot. So, really looking pretty good here. It's a little farther than 5 yards on this backside, but at this point, it's pretty good. They did a pretty good job all the way through. All right, here we go. 1st and 10. Who in the ball? Okay. So here, we're just kind of zooming out just because. Okay. Zooming out isn't necessarily just the thing to do as a filmer. You should definitely be doing it only when there's a reason for it. And the reason should not be just to add all this extra space along the edges. Okay. We kind of measure how much of this is actually football. We're right there, and then that puts you right about 65%. Okay. So if you ordered a 100-inch television off of Amazon and then they sent you a 65-inch television, you would immediately send that back. Okay, that's kind of what we're seeing here in this, right? And that's what, we're sending it back, right? All right. Getting tight. I like it. Nice. Okay. Zooming right back out to that same spot again. But at least in this respect, you still have the quarterback in the shot. In case it is a rollout, okay, that makes sense. You would see indicators that he still has the ball, which we're not seeing. This defender's crashing. These defenders are all crashing up. Okay, so you're within 10 yards here, but if we were to drop the quarterback, it would be a much tighter, much more usable shot. Okay, let's just hypothetically say we were, here, right? If we could recognize that the quarterback clearly does not have the ball on this play, and then just drop him out and zoom up, you'd gain a significant 55% of your shot back in that case. Okay. Pitch. Nope, it's a keep. Rolling back out the other way. All right. So awesome. This is great. Clearly, it's a keep on this one, right? So we want to keep the quarterback in the shot. Quarterback plus, I'd say maybe 10 to 15 yards behind him. No, absolutely not. Why would we do this? Why would we gain all this extra space back here? Right? The whole point is to stay close so that we can see what's actually happening. We lost all the detail here. And then again, another 10 to 15 yards behind the safety. All right, let's take a look. There. I mean, these two guys are referees. We don't need to see them. They're less than 70% on this. All right, and you can see it. It's clearly a rollout, right? You can see he fakes the pitch, and he does not even pitch it. He's coming this way. And look at all these guys are not chasing the pitch man. They're chasing the quarterback. Yeah. No. Nope. Coming this way. Right. Okay. And what do we see? We see all this. Wow. There's a whole lot going on up here. I could easily get distracted looking at all the different, stuff up here that we don't need to see. All right. Pass. Nope. Okay, interesting. Maybe a run to the far side. There you go. Okay. Run to the far side. Should we zoom out, to as far as the camera will allow us to? No, absolutely not. Right? You recognize it right here. Right? If there are routes being run, you would zoom out with these guys as they drop back. He dropped back a yard. 2 at the most. Right? That's who we're trying to focus on, is how is he going to cover this receiver coming out, motioning across, and then coming out into a route. If he's not doing that, then there's no reason to zoom out to show the goalposts. All right. You got a lead blocker. Got the numbers to that side. Oh, rolling out this way. Okay. All right. So it looked like he was going to hand it off, and it was play action, pulling it back and coming this way. Obviously, you can see it because, it's very visible to the play side. Okay. Rolling out this direction, you can see that this is happening. You can see that these defenders are chasing. You can see that these guys are going out into routes. We got 5 yards here, 5 yards here. That works. Continuing to zoom out to add the referees, and the sky cam isn't going to be helpful. All right, and we're here. Less than 70%. All right. Okay. Can we get tighter on this? Absolutely. Hold on a second. Before the snap even, can we get up on this? It's the same box, so it's still less than 70%. Ah, no play. Sweet. Alright. No harm, no foul. Okay, kind of the same thing here though, at the snap. Right, before the ball's even snapped. Can we get tighter on this? Can we not see to the back of the end zone when the farthest guy is at the 3-yard line? Less than 70%. Okay. Alright. Within 10 yards both directions, that works. Okay. Alright. So I can see this play so much better than the last two plays, right? Look at that. I can see blocks being thrown. I can see footwork. I can see numbers. Okay? This is much more usable for a team, right? And guess what? Great play. Okay, both sides of the ball. Fantastic. I love it. Do that. Get up in there. Let's go. Yeah. Oh, oh. Oh, he's got nowhere to run. Okay. So, way to get in there tight. Okay. Here. There's no reason to zoom out here. Just clear as day. You got all this space around the edge. Okay, this is close enough to be usable, right? Why would we zoom out? Right there. That's zooming out to get more of this. What? There's nothing up here, right? There's nothing to see. Nothing to see here, folks. Right? Nothing to see up here. Don't go there. Right? Just because he's running away from you doesn't mean you need to zoom out to show whatever all this is. Right? This is a perfectly framed shot. I mean, it can get tighter. Clearly, it can get tighter, but this works. I can see numbers just the same as I saw the last play. Right? I can see the numbers, I can see the blocking, I can see everything. And then we zoom out to show whatever is going on in Maryland. I don't know. Moving on. Okay, this looks like a pass. Oh. Alright. Similar thing here, but in the passing sense. This is actually a pretty good frame. Unless somebody's going to this back corner of the end zone, you really don't have to change much, which, there's the back corner of the end zone. Cool. Leave it there, right? Is anybody coming down to this corner? No. Leave it there. What happens? Still zooming out. Still zooming out. 15 rows. Right? All this extra space. $70 to 75% of your frame. Okay? Fourth and 14, we're going to kick a field goal. Beauty. Hey, let's go. Go see the referee is giving the signal there. I like it. All right, here we go. Special teams. All right, so right here, you've got 10 yards behind the kicker. You got an extra 8 yards behind the deepest man on the front line. Okay, you can tighten all this up to here and see, again, there's the 70 to 75%. I haven't changed that box. So you can tighten all that up and see a whole lot more detail of the people that are really making plays here, right? I want to see it. I want to see plays being made. Zooming out, finding where the ball is, and then they do a good job of coming back in, getting in tighter. Well, until we get to this point and they stopped, right? They were doing a good job of finding the ball and then coming in with it, right? Within 10 yards behind both sides. But then they stopped for some reason. I don't know why. Why would you want to keep all this extra space? Well, we'll just come up and see what's happening here. Now they do. All right. Okay. Okay, getting tight. Okay. All right. 5 yards both ways. Let's go. Yep, there's the rollout. Staying tight with it, kinda. Oof. 2/3? Is there an entire third of space with nothing in it? Well, I mean, that entire third of the film is completely unusable. There's nothing here that the coaches can use. Okay? If you're going sideline to sideline, that's completely understandable, and that would make a difference, right? As far as how tight you can get. But that would be right about here. Okay, we're not there. All right, give your safeties more space on this side in coverage so we can see more coverage, right? Let's see how they're covering these guys running routes. Let's see the routes. Let's see the patterns that are being, because that's how you identify what play that is, right? 85%. Okay. Pass. Beauty. That works. Okay, stayed in there. No reason to zoom out. Everybody was in the frame. Stay right there and let's see it happen. I love it. All right, 4th and 2. They punt. Punts away. Ball's up. Ball's down. All right, that works. Got a lead blocker. Follow your blocker. Okay, zooming out to see the end zone. Okay, the ball's here at the 32-yard line, and I see the end zone behind the quarterback. Really don't need to see the quarterback or this guy. Sorry, they're just walking. I don't know. There's nothing we can take from that. All right, these two guys, they have to be expendable in this shot to focus on these guys who are making plays. You know, just staying at the same, keeping this same frame and just moving this direction with the play that would be completely sufficient for this play. But zooming out to show the end zone behind the quarterback is unacceptable. We can't say that works in any sense if we're actually making decisions based on what's happening on the field. Okay, nice. Okay, safety on this side. Right here. Okay, within 5 yards. Bam. On this side, within 5 yards. Let's go. Okay. This is doable, so we should do that every play, right? Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah. Oh, okay. All right. Yes. Love it. This is as good as anything I've seen from other teams, right? This is really good. Look at that. 2 yards, 2 yards. Less than 5 yards total. Okay. Now here, when the safety runs off the edge and we've got extra space behind the quarterback, doesn't make sense. Right? And then he's gone. Man. That would have been like a highlight reel for a filmer had we not dropped the safety, right? All right. Here we go again. Lining them up. Yes. Okay. Alright. Zooming out to show extra space behind the quarterback. Kept it within 10 yards. That works. Okay. Got numbers to this side. Here comes more numbers. Oh, going the opposite direction. Play calling coming out of Chicago. Keeps you on your toes. I like it. Alright. Within 10 yards, within 10 yards. This looks good. Okay, obviously, don't need to show as much of that as we are, but, at least this is workable for the people on the field. Okay? Alright. Pass. Quick pass. Alright. Oh, whoa, 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 whoa. Hold on a second. Quick pass, we should just zoom out to infinity. No, absolutely not. Why? Okay, it's right here. It's all right here. Everybody's running this way. We should be getting tighter. We should be going the other direction. Right? Everybody's coming this way. This frame should be tightening up to here. Not zooming out. Wow. Okay. Well, let's just put it in the box and see. I mean, I'm not making it up. It's just that small. 50%. All this extra space, all this could have football in it. But it's just grass and sidelines. Okay? Just remember, this is the same box, right, as right here. Now when it's down here in the corner, you can see how much extra space there was. Yeah. Okay, if I'm a player or a coach, during the week watching film and trying to evaluate what I was doing on the field, I want to be able to see it. I want to stay in close here. This is nice and tight, right? There's all kinds of stuff happening here. Look at that. Run recognition. Obviously it's run. Safety's not dropping back any farther than this, so they don't zoom out any farther than that. I'd like them to not zoom out any farther than that. It was pretty close, right? Pretty good. Pass. Quick pass. To the far side. Same thing there. Everybody's running to the same spot. You can just zoom in. Right? Zooming out is counterproductive to what we're trying to do here. Pass. Nope, handoff. Alright, so. Okay, you got 7 yards behind the quarterback, 6 yards. And the handoff going the other direction. Okay, right now this is workable. Should we zoom out from here or should we zoom in? Everybody's running to this one spot. Zooming in. Okay. Took a second, but we got there. Alright, at least they didn't zoom out when the ball's running away from you and everybody's going to that one spot. Alright, here we go. Pass, roll out. Halts the rollout, throws it. What a fantastic shot this is. Okay, bam. 5 yards. Pretty close to 5 yards, right? 5 yards. 5 yards. Okay, decent. 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 And then right there. Looks good. We'll count it. Okay, close enough. Here we go. Okay. Well, it was fun while it lasted. Okay, because now we're just zooming out to show everything everywhere. All of Maryland, Baltimore, the entire everything. Let's see. Okay, this is where we could be. 70 to 75%, so 25 to 30% of it is completely, crowd and extra space to the, to behind the goalpost when no one's even crossed the goal line, right? and then extra space behind the quarterback, totaling 12 yards, 13 yards. That's excessive. Fourth and 7. Kicking it. Booted. Let's go. Straight through. Alright. Putting points on the board. 3 at a time. Kickoff. Zooming up. Let's go. Get in there. Let's see it. Okay. I want to see it. It's on the field. I can see that it's on the field. There's football on that field. I can see it. I also see a lot of grass. Okay? And according to my coach, who is a Hall of Fame college coach, we need to see less grass and more football. And I'll take his word for it. Okay. Yes. Okay. Alright, so zooming out, this is nice and tight on this side here. Okay, decent. Still zooming out behind the quarterback to show a lot of extra space. Okay, 12 yards. Pretty consistently showing 12 to 15 yards behind the quarterback. Alright. It's pretty wide. Can we get tight? A little bit? No. Okay, so it's really wide to start. They zoom in. They zoom in before the snap. And then the ball is snapped, and then immediately zoom back out. Okay. It wasn't that tight to start, right? Even at this is still 10 yards. 10 yards, 11 yards there. Okay, right there. All right, we're within 10 yards there. Okay, this is at least workable. But then to zoom back out to show now we're back out to 15 yards, 15 yards, right? And then still going. Whew. Wide is not your friend, right? Zooming out at the pace of the players that are moving across your frame is required, right? Zooming out wide and then wider and then widest just because you saw something happen is not, it's not the process. All right, trust the process. Here we go. This one is a no play. Not happening. Okay. Within 10 yards, both directions. That works. Can it be tighter? Yes. Does it work for evaluations? Yes. That'll work. Okay. "10 yards, both directions." Cool. This will work. Zooming out to see 15 yards behind the quarterback is not helpful under any circumstances. Okay, we're past 10 yards here. And what does that do? We'll do it again. Put it in the frame. Put it in the box here. And measuring. And we're less than 70%. Okay. Pass. Motion. Handoff. Nope, it's a pass. Wow. Again, keeping you on your toes. Top to bottom, this works. Okay. All right. They don't go any higher than the chains. I like that. Pretty close. Okay. They got a guy down here at the bottom of the frame. That works. Okay. This is a decent shot, top to bottom. This makes sense. Okay. Zooming out any farther than that doesn't make a ton of sense, but it's close enough. Okay. Well, I say within 10 yards, right? That's 10 yards behind the farthest person. All right, this guy's at the 11. We're filming all about to the 4 yard line. Okay, that's close enough. All right, this is usable. This is workable. This is definitely something you can coach from, unless we're zooming out on a run play, and then it's just going to get wider and smaller. Everybody gets smaller. What happened here? What is that? What is going on here? Okay, something happened down here. I'd love to be able to see it like right in the frame, right? Instead of zooming out, still zooming out to show the back corner of the end zone. Who's in the back corner of the end zone? No one. This is the football. If we're keeping the quarterback in the shot, right? It's there. If we were to drop him, it really doesn't change much because we're still, that much. But 50%. Okay. Okay, empty. Thinking pass. Okay, oh, motioning back into the backfield. Not handing it off to him, though. He's keeping the ball coming this way. All right, so this works. They're zoomed out a little farther than they need to be at this point. There's a lot of extra space here, a lot of extra space here. Within 10 yards here. Within, I don't know, there's a lot of space back here. Okay, do we tighten it up a little bit? Okay, there's definitely room to tighten up further from that. As long as they don't zoom out from here and show a bunch of extra stuff, it works. While they're zooming out, these guys don't need to be. There's really no reason for zooming out there. Okay. All right. Okay. Interesting. Interesting. Oh boy. Yeah. That play could have gone anywhere, right? Okay. Most likely going to be a run with all those backs in the backfield, right? You just don't know which direction it's heading. But because of that, is there a reason to zoom out? No. No. No, 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 no. No. Nope. Not even a little bit. Right? Straight ahead. Right? This is a run. Unless quarterback's keeping and bouncing back out, which is possible right there, right? He might have even had that option and said, no. Right? So, okay. Okay. That works. There was no reason to zoom out, but what zooming did occur was measured based on what was happening on the field, so that works. This all looks good. The special teams are spot on these field goals that continue to be happening. Field goals, extra points. So 7-6. Here we go. 7-6. Baltimore taking the lead. Zooming out. Okay. You get to this point, you're zooming in, getting tighter, and then what here would indicate that we would need to zoom out? We should still be zooming in to get in on the action, right? Here, they just decide to zoom out for some reason. Okay. Big run back there. Probably some great blocks taking place in there. Would love to see more of that. Okay. Runner pass. You got 50-50 shot. You got two backs in the backfield. Usually will indicate a run. Okay, zooming out. Gives us this. %60. Okay. Did you think they were using only 60% of the frame just by looking at it when we first watched it? You think there was 40% of your television was completely unusable? Just grass growing, just empty turf. Okay. Filming football. Football and only football should be the goal. Pass, pass, it's pass, pass, pass. Okay. How did I know it's a pass? I don't know. For one, I guess, but for two, this guy just doesn't look like he's ready for taking a handoff. If he is, he's going this direction with it, right? Okay. A lot of empty space back here. Okay. 3rd and 9. Okay. Situationally, on 3rd and 9 is typically a pass. And the Bears do not disappoint. That's grounding? Yeah, that's grounding. Okay, so let's just go back to here. Okay, before the snap, within 10 yards, that works. Okay, how do you use that 10 yards? Do you let people fill into that frame, or are we going to zoom out to show extra? Okay, now we're within 5 yards, so that's good. We've cut it in half, right? We've allowed it naturally to progress to half of where we started. Okay, still within 5 yards. Okay, a little bit extra space back here, kind of zooming out, to see what's happening, but throughout the majority of that play looked really good. Alright, but intentional grounding, 4th and 23, they're punting. Okay. Do you have a play for 4th and 23? Yeah, it's punt. Okay. Hey, let's go. The coffin corner. Ooh, buddy. Wow. Wow, wow, wow. Fantastic job. Oh, no. Doesn't count. Okay. Well, you know what? Great job, filmer, for getting to see it. Right? I got to see what a fantastic kick that was. And if we just had the ability to do that again, would be great. It works. Okay. But great job. I got to see that ball came down at the 1 yard line. And we just need to do that every time because that was awesome. All right. Got some space behind the quarterback. Okay. If you look at within the 2/3, okay, you've got just two guys back here, right? Not even the quarterback on the 1/3. The ball is here, right, which is directly above the center point. If you can move that ball back to here, it'll shift all this over, and then this guy will be right about here, and he's going this way anyway, so it doesn't matter. Running back's going to be back here. He's going this way. Quarterback's going to drop back. If he's going to be throwing a pass, he's going to be dropped back to right about here, and that would make a ton of sense, right? But as it sits, we got a lot of extra space, behind the running back, and it's going to cause some issues here. Let's see what happens. Yep. Okay. Zooming out. All right, you got all this extra space. What do we do with it? Well, let's zoom out and give us some more space, right? And you can see now the only person in that space is the quarterback, right? And behind the safety, there's, the only person on the other third is the safety, right? And with all this extra space across the top. Okay. All right. within 10 yards. That works. Alright. Did zoom out a little bit. It was very measured. I always like to stay in there tight. I always like to, only respond and zoom out as needed. But if you are zooming out and you're not just cranking back on the controls and zooming out to infinity, right, like this, looks good. Okay? Looks really good. Okay. Within 10 yards, both directions. Okay, so let's see here. Alright, within 10 yards, that works. Within 10 yards, that works. Very usable footage. Okay, whoa, we're seeing sections. Alright, not great to see the sections of the footage. They really kind of panned up just to see that, right? This works, right? Where we're framed up right here, there's nobody running off of it. So panning up here to show more crowd is not necessary, right? It doesn't make a ton of sense to do that, but it didn't affect anything negatively other than just being distracting to see that much crowd. But I get distracted easily. Players are much more focused. Coaches are far more focused than your average layperson. All right, here we go. Within 10 yards, both directions. Yeah, it works. Okay. All right. Let's just say, since we got guy lined up on both sides, outside the numbers on both sides, we're just kind of sideline to sideline. We can count that, right? This will work. We can just leave it like this. There's a little bit of space behind the quarterback, but these guys can run for a significant distance unless this guy's immediately coming to the sideline, right? But these guys can run go routes both directions and not leave the frame, so we don't have to zoom out at all. That's what I'm seeing here before the snap. Okay? If we're not getting any tighter than this, there's no reason to zoom out. Let's see what happens. Zooming out on a run play, moving away from you to see all this. Okay? It is a go route. Okay? You want to keep him in the shot, that's fine. What are we seeing up here? Okay, this is the farthest guy that I want to see up here. All of this is no. No, that's a no for me, dog. Okay? And then zooming out from there to, again, 10 yards behind the quarterback. The quarterback is out. Right? He handed the ball off. He's done. He's just looking over at the coaches at this point and like, hey, what did you think of that, coach? Do we want to run that play again? Probably not. Okay? Pass. Roll out. And quick pass. Man. Love the play call. Alright, here we go. So, zooming out. Behind the quarterback. 15 yards. 20 yards. All this. Okay. All the players are smaller than my cursor. Right? Can't tell you who that player is. Right? If there was a reason to be out this far because of routes that are going that far, I completely understand. Okay? We're going to see routes at that point, and we're going to make sure that the players are in the positions that they're supposed to be for the quarterback to throw them a deep pass and score a touchdown. Completely understandable. Okay? If you're going to zoom out this far to show this, all of this, in, a third of empty space, just to show this, to keep the symbol in the middle of the field visible for me, I don't want to see it. I'm sorry. It's not what I'm here for. Football only. Okay? 4th and 2. Going for it. 2 yards? You need 2 yards? You running on 2 yards? I say yeah. Nope. Passing. Okay. Alright, zooming out on a play coming towards you. Obviously there was no go routes. You need 2 yards, right? We're not running 60-yard launch balls down the field on a 2-yard pickup. And maybe they are, right? They weren't, right? Maybe somebody decides that that's the best call in that situation, and which is fine. But that didn't happen, right? And odds are it's not going to happen. Whew. Whew. There's that symbol again. It's a cool symbol, right? I'm not knocking the symbol in the middle of the field. It's very, very cool. But once we're past it, we're past it. I'm past it. Can we just be past it? Right? Offense is past it. I mean, if we zoom out to see the symbol again on this play, I don't even know what at that point, right? Okay, we didn't. Good. Okay, we did zoom out to show extra space, which isn't great, but on this instance, this is fine. Okay. Alright, let's just look at before the snap. Can we get any tighter? Obviously, we obviously can. Are we within 10 yards? No, we're not. No, not there either. Okay. Within 10 yards behind the quarterback? Yes. Within 10 yards behind the safety? Not really. Okay. Is there a reason we need to be out this wide? Kinda. You can get tighter with it, but this is fine. As long as you're not zooming out from here, you could let this ride, and unless somebody goes to this bottom left corner, right? Somebody can run for a long time before they get to the top corner. Let's see what happens. Zooming out to see more space behind the quarterback, all this extra space down here, and everybody's going away. If somebody stole your car and they're driving away, and you need to zoom in to see them as they're driving away from you, that would make a ton of sense, right? Let's hope that never happens, but in that instance, that would make sense. If you have a video camera and you pull out your video camera while the car's driving away and you zoom out, that wouldn't make any sense, and it wouldn't be very helpful for you to get your car back. I want you to get your car back, and I want to see more football. Kicks away. That works. Oh, let's go. Who is that? Okay, 88. Heck of a play. Okay, love to get a closer shot of that to be able to see it, but I did get to see it, and I liked it. Right? Let's see more of that. Oh yeah. Let's see more of this. Right? Okay, we got a lot of space behind the quarterback. What do they do with it? We cut it down to almost 0. Bam, bam. Let's go. Zooming out to keep everybody in the shot. I like it. Okay, stopping the zoom once we get to this point. I like it even more. Coming back in. Cool. Let's go. Let's do this. We're rocking now. Okay. Alright. So right here, we're sideline to sideline already. There's, nobody coming this direction. There's no reason to zoom out any further than this until the safety starts to drop past that point, and the quarterback on this side has enough, for an 8-yard drop back, which they don't do, right? It's 2 steps. I kind of expected 2 steps. They do that a lot, right? You know, if they start switching to an 8-yard drop back, then we'll change our expectation at that point. Okay? All this extra space is completely unusable, which causes more space down here, which causes more space up here. So that puts our frame %70. Oh boy. Okay. Well, I always say to anticipate the play. I was not anticipating this, right? Why does he do this? Oh, they're coming hot. Okay. Gotta throw it away. Okay. Somebody didn't pick up a blitz, and they gotta go. So I don't know about the zoom out. Right? It seems aggressive. You got the space, right? You've already got space. I have no problem with teams using extra space around the football. I definitely would love to tighten it up and see more detail, but if you're going to have the space, use it correctly. And right there's no reason to zoom out. Just unless you're trying to find which fan he was throwing that ball to. So, all right, 3rd and 15. Okay. Pass. As you would expect on 3rd and 15. All right. So 3rd and 15. Could we keep this guy in the shot? I like this guy. The Ravens safety here. Can we keep him in the shot? I mean, he's going to be watching this video. I'm sure he'd love to see himself make the change of direction and come back. I'm sure the coaches would love to be able to say, hey, we like your change of direction and coming back to make a play here. There he is. Here he comes. Or the coaches might say, hey, it took you way too long to make that change of direction and come up and make this play. In the meantime, I'm seeing 20 yards behind the quarterback, right, on this side. Completely abandoned that player for this back here. And more players. It wasn't just him. Right? There was more to that side. 4th and 6. Kick it. Oh, the Bears have not crossed the goal line yet here. Coming up short. Okay. Field goals only get you so far. All right. 3 points at a time. Not on that one. All right. But, that was the end of the half, so they had to kick it. Kick off to start the second half. Looks good. That works. Definitely tighten up behind the quarterback. They did. How do they use that space? Decent. Let's go. Yeah. Awesome. All right. Cool. More of that. Okay. Run coming towards you is zooming out for what? Zooming out to see an extra 10 yards behind the quarterback and an extra 15, 16 yards behind the farthest guy on the defensive side. Okay. Got a lead blocker. Are we running? Yeah, hand it to him. Give it to him. Okay. Would a run change what we're gonna do on as a filmer? Yeah. Yep. And what it changes is it keeps you from, if you were to recognize that it's a run and not zoom out at all because nobody's running routes down the field, it would keep you from being in this situation where 35% of your frame is completely unusable. Okay. Okay, can this get tighter? Yes. Okay. Very slight, but they were already at 10 yards. If you're going to zoom out from there, it's just going to get worse. On a run, it's going to get worse on top of worse. This is a pass, clearly. Okay. Alright. It is a pass. Okay. If we could just anticipate that it's going to be that and then plan ahead, right? So we don't end up just zooming out to see everything everywhere. Okay. Once we get to this point, just to measure it, okay, we're sideline here, and then we're heading towards the corner of the end zone up top. So that could change, but as of right now, we're at 70%. All right, and you might have to expand out. Nope, he stops. Okay, and the play is going this direction, so we don't need to see anything beyond this edge of this sideline. All right. $10 yards, both directions. Yep, we're within that. Zooming out from there, now we're no longer within that. All right. Okay. Cool. All right. That works. 4th and 3. What are we doing? Ravens. Putting 3 on. Let's go. Okay. That makes it 13-6. Kickoff. All right. How much space behind the kicker? Before he even starts moving, he's got 11 yards. 12 yards. Right here, 15 yards. Okay. Does it go away? No. There it goes. Okay. No longer have 15 yards behind the kicker, which is good. Down to less than 5. Still got 10 yards behind the returner, but more importantly, we saw where the ball landed, so that works. And we're zooming in, and that makes sense as well. So, all right. That'll work. Okay. Nice. Alright, let's just pause it here. If we're going to say within 10 yards at the snap of the ball, okay, they are definitely there, okay? So this is workable footage. We can see where routes are going to come off of here. We can draw up where the routes should run, okay? We can see where the quarterback is going to go from here. We can see where this running back is going to go. We can draw on this frame to show everything that's going to happen. But what happens from this point forward matters as well. It makes a difference. Okay? And zooming out on a run play going away from you is just going to add extra space in all directions. Again, the quarterback, as great of a quarterback as he is, if he's not rolling out or keeping the ball or, you know, doing something other than what he did there, I'm fine dropping him out at that point. And any other football video that you watch is going to do that, right? For the purpose of making sure that you keep these guys who are in the shot, you know, making it as useful as possible for them. Okay, here's a guy going off the frame here to keep extra space on this side. Would make sense to keep him in the shot if we can. Okay, we can. I'll just say you can if you're just not showing the extra grass on the other side of the frame. Okay, this works. This looks good. I like this. Cool. Okay, we can still cut that space down behind the quarterback, but that's going to be a ongoing theme until that part is corrected, right? And the whole purpose is that there's nothing happening back there, right? So, all right, there you go. Right, keeping the punter in the shot, I guess. Can do that. Inside run. Right, inside the mix of all these guys here. We zoomed out to show this person. Okay. And this person. And these people back here. Okay. I don't know. Like, I don't want to see them. That's really cool that they get to be there on the sidelines. I think that's awesome. For them. Okay. For the coaches and the players, they want to see this. Obviously. Why wouldn't they? Right? That's kind of their whole thing. All right. Stay in there. There we go. There we go. Okay. That works. Waited for that receiver to start actually pressing the edge of the frame before zooming out. I like that. Okay. 2/3. Where are we at? Can we fix it? Are they going to fix it? That's the main question. Yes, we can fix it. Are they going to? Okay, sideline to sideline. That works. All right, here we go. Going again. Run inside. Everybody running to where the runner is. Second and 9. Pass. Stepping up. Let's go. All right. It makes sense from a defensive perspective that once the runner starts running, everybody's going to run and try to tackle him, right? Like just basic football. So everyone's running to this one spot, right? Good luck catching him, but there he goes, right? And we're zooming out to show this much behind the offense, this much extra behind the defense, this much on this side of the field, and then this much on this side of the field. So just so I'm not hallucinating it here. $65%. Okay. You can use this frame and show everything that happens in it. You can zoom out to show extra stuff. Okay. I would prefer to just keep it where it's at. Unless people start running clearly off the frame. Okay, like that. He was clearly running off the frame. You gotta zoom out. Okay, and that's fine. Within 10 yards behind the quarterback. That works. Yes, yes. Okay, here we go. We got a receiver running to the back corner of the end zone. You gotta show the back corner of the end zone, right? There it is. There's the back corner of the end zone. I love it. You got a receiver running to the front corner of the end zone. You got to show the front corner of the end zone. There it is, right? I see it all. Can we stop? Did they stop? They absolutely did stop. And there it is. Okay? I like that. We're going to count that as a win. Okay? Here we go again. Let's do the same thing. But this time, let's put it in the end zone. Okay? Wow. 2 plays in a row where we're staying tight with guys as they go towards the end zone. Okay, top to bottom, this works. Top of the chains, that works. Far side of the sideline, that works. Got guys in both directions, that works. Let's go. This looks good. 4th and 8. Kicking the field goal. Okay. Lined up tight, close enough. Didn't move anything, that works. Going to see the referee's signal, that works. There are some Ravens going bonkers in the end zone. I love it. All right. We just got points. Let's go. Kick is up. Yes. Okay. All right. So where I've said before that they stopped zooming in at some point and just kept it out wide, they keep zooming in. Still zooming in. Still zooming in. There we go. Okay. Now, from this point forward, if they stay right here, they can keep everybody in the shot. I'm pretty sure that's the kicker at this point. Okay? There's no reason to zoom out. Definitely no reason to zoom out. Okay? Close enough. That works. Okay? I liked it. Okay, within 10 yards. Cool. This works. Okay. Quick pitch. Far side, zoom up and see it. That works. All right. Here we go again. Get on in there. Get on tight. Get up. Giddy up. Getting in on some football. Less grass. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Uh-huh. Oh. 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 Okay. Well, zoomed up close. Okay. At this point in the frame, this is within 5 yards. This is within 5 yards. Love it. Okay. But zooming out on a run play, okay, everybody's condensing. Everybody's going to this guy right here. Everybody's, wherever he goes, everybody's going there. Right? So zooming out is just getting smaller, smaller. Okay. They at least stopped it, but let's stay in tight on runs. If, it turned out to not be a run and everybody started running routes and the quarterback said, ha ha, I've got the ball. I'm going to throw it just like this. Okay? Ha ha, I've got the ball. I'm going to throw it to that guy. There he is. Okay? We've got within 10 yards behind the quarterback still. Within 5 yards. This is decent. This works. But if they're not doing that, if it's a run, then, there's no reason to zoom out with phantom receivers that aren't running routes. All right. 3rd and 6. Bears probably going to pass. They need the points. All right. Currently down 10 points in the 3rd quarter. Okay. Looks good. Kind of get in those passing situations and say, you know what? I'm thinking they're going to pass. Okay. I think the Ravens defense said, hey, I think they're going to run. 4th quarter. Let's go. Straight ahead. That works. Okay, so this is 3rd and 6 again. Last time they were in this situation, they passed. Let's see what happens. It's a pass. Oh, look at that. Awesome. Okay. Run straight ahead. Off tackle. Straight ahead. From a filmer's perspective, it's the same thing, right? Just inside the frame. If they're running to the edge, it's going to be outside. If you're trying to get to the sidelines, it's outside. Okay, it changes how you're going to film it, is what it comes down to. Okay, pass. Same play action. They've run enough. Nope, they're handing it off. Straight ahead. So let's just keep running straight ahead until we get to the end zone. And they did. Okay. Alright. And the extra point is up. And it's good. Okay. 13-16. Got a game on our hands now. Kick off. Getting in there, zooming up, and then halting. Okay. And then zooming back out. Alright. Okay. Motion across. Runs straight ahead. Okay, zooming out on a run. Run recognition is huge, right? If you've seen other films that I've looked at and the filmers are recognizing the run immediately and stopping their zoom, it makes a huge difference. This looks like a pass. Unless there's a motion man that they're handing off to. Okay? And again, run recognition. What happens when you don't recognize that they handed the ball off and that everybody's running to that one spot? You zoom out to show an entire half of the field is completely empty. 15 yards. 15 yards. The other half of the field. Okay. Anticipate what's going to happen and then respond once it does. Okay? If you're wrong, you can make that adjustment on the fly. If you're right, you kind of go into the pre-programmed script of how do we handle this situation to keep everything tight. Zooming out isn't it. Not on this play. It's been 2 plays in a row coming right at you. Right? And zooming out isn't the prescription for it. Okay. Is this a run or a pass? Run. Okay. That works. Looks good. 3rd and 5. Okay. Now 3rd down, if you want to keep the ball, a lot of times they go to the air. Let's see what happens here. Going to the air. Oh, not to that guy though. Alright, looks good, man. 4th and 5. Thought they might kick a field goal, but going up 6 doesn't appeal to them. Okay, they want to keep the ball. See what you got. Bunch. Tap the center a little bit, just to let them know you're there. Try to draw them off sides. On 4th and 5, does not happen. Yeah, and then walking off, kicking the field goal. Here we go. Alright, no play. Oh, punting. Not going to kick it. Okay. They do have a punter that can drop the ball close inside the 5. Let's go. He did. What? And I saw it, right? I got to see it because that filmer knew exactly where that ball was going, because he knows this punter. He knows they're going to drop it in there, and they did. Okay, great job to the punt team for getting down there and catching the ball, and then they're moving off sides and backing them up. They're going to be so close to their own goal line here. Oh man, here we go, here we go. Nice and tight, let's go. Yeah. Oh, he's touching his helmet. Safety's like, hey, touch his helmet. Yep. Oh, the Ravens want this. They want this so bad. You can see this defense. Great job, filmer. Okay? Staying in there. I can see it. You can see the defense swarming around. We want this ball back right here. We don't want to let you off the goal line. From the end zone. Picked! Oh, let's go! Awesome. Okay. So, why did I get to see that? Because this filmer is on top of this, right? Right? He's in it. In it to win it. Bam. He or she, I don't know who this filmer is, in Baltimore. Bam. Look at this. The adrenaline kicks in and you're just on it. Bam. Yes. Okay. Let's go. What a play. It's a big play. Okay, you got a lead blocker coming this way. See what they do with that. Go in the other direction. Okay. Send the lead blocker to the other side of the field and then go that direction. Alright, run going away from you. Should you zoom out? Probably not. And 99% of the time, I'd say absolutely not. Okay. There is a rare instance where you might have a reason to zoom out, but I don't know what that is. Pass. Pass. Wide open. Into the end zone. High stepping it. And the spike. Let's go! Man, that's pretty. Great job, filmer. I got to see all that. Kick us up. The shadow made it look like it went insane straight up in the air, but it was just a regular old kick, I guess. Went through the uprights, and they get an extra point for that. Okay. So that puts you back to a 10-point game. So the punt, the decision to punt in that instance came up big for the Ravens. Okay? We don't want 3, we want 7. We want to bury them deep and get the ball back. Alright? Now, here, there's got to be something we can do better. Okay? What is it? Okay? Zooming out, we got space behind the kicker. I say you can drop the kicker. The kicker is moving this way, right? So, you know, expect that you might be able to put him on that. It might be difficult to see him in the shadow here, but that's just part of it. And then just, you know, once this guy catches the ball back here and starts to run up, you have to account for that, right? And it just makes it so that you can actually see what happened there, which I don't know what that is. Okay. A tackle was made, that's all I know. Alright, here we go. What's going on here? At this point in the frame, 2/3, we got 1 man. Okay, and 2 refs. We have more refs than we have players in this entire section. Okay. Now, if you're going to have extra space, could we put it on the safety side so we don't have to zoom out? Right? The safety's going to be dropping back. If there's going to be routes run, the safety could just drop back and drop back and drop back and continue to drop back through all this extra space, right? But since the space is all on the quarterback side, nothing's happening back there. The safety, the only thing that he can do is drop back 5 yards, and now we have to zoom out again. So let's see what happens. Drop back, and zooming out. Okay, and zooming out, and now that space is no longer behind the quarterback. Now it's back here behind the safety, which it could have started there, and then we would just be here, right? Alright, so now this is a long route going up the sidelines. Got to stay with it, but since we were kind of all over the place, back and forth to start, now we're getting more space behind the offense again. And it's just a lot of extra. Okay. There's a more rational approach to handling that extra space that would keep it much tighter, because you're staying with the guys that you started with. Where you start with guys on each side of the frame, you just stay with those guys, and you don't vary from that at all. Right? This guy's still the farthest guy on this side. This quarterback is still pretty much the farthest guy on this side. You got a guy here as well, right? But once the ball's away, you don't have to zoom out anymore. You can just stop and go find it. Okay. Two-thirds. Okay. Quarterback fills into that frame nicely. We're top to bottom, sideline to sideline. Got a little bit of space behind the safety, a little bit of space behind the quarterback. That works. Okay, very usable footage there for the coaches and players. All right, here we go again. Okay, two-thirds. Okay. Could we fill a third of the frame with football? Yeah. If I give you a gallon jug and I say go fill this up with water, and you come back and it's a third empty, I say, well, why didn't you fill up the rest of it, right? And it's kind of the same with filming games, right? Okay. Good. Tight. I like tight. Yes. That works. Okay. Good job. You can see halfway through that play that there's guys on both sides. And that works. Okay. Okay. Here, right, we started at, before the snap, we got 10 yards behind the quarterback. Okay. Really, it's 11. But close enough, right? Are we using that well? Yep. He's starting to fill it in a little bit. Okay, got space there. Now, ball's away, right? Everybody's going to recognize this guy, sees that the ball's away, he's going that direction, going that direction. If this guy's still involved in the play, he's going to be going that direction. I don't think he is. I think he's kind of done for. Okay, but we're zooming out to show this, and behind the quarterback again. Okay. And that's not helpful. Okay. Less grass, more football. Less crowd, more football. Crowd the frame, don't frame the crowd. Okay, this looks good. Crowd the frame with nothing but players playing football. And they'll appreciate that. And they'll play better football. I'm convinced of it. Okay? I'm like, man, did you see what I did on that play? I'm going to do that again. And they're like, hey, did you see what you did on the play? Yeah, I don't want to do that ever again, right? So it goes both ways, right? All right. 10 yards behind the quarterback, close enough. 15 yards behind the safety, not close enough, right? We need to be much closer than that. But once the ball snapped, we got a quarterback 3 yards from this side of the frame. We got 10 yards out in front of the receiver. Now we've got 5 yards out in front of the receiver, and the quarterback's right on the edge. And we're going to the end zone with it. We'll count it. Looks good. is up. It's good. A lot of field goals in this game. Okay, 23-16. All right. Okay. So, zoom in. Okay, if you gotta zoom out, to keep this kicker in the shot, I don't recommend it. I always say to be here, but if the coaches are saying you need to have that kicker in the shot for some reason, you gotta zoom out for it. Definitely want to see where the ball lands. We've done that. Now zoom in. Now zoom in. Zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in, zoom in. Zoom in, zoom in. Everybody's still zooming in. Okay. Kind of stopped and then stopped zooming in. There at the end. They did. Okay. You can get right up on that. Okay. And we want to, if we're going to see, who's making play down there. And how did they get there? Okay. Sideline to sideline, there's room to tighten that up, but 2nd and 4. Tight. Get tight. Get in there. Within 10 yards, both directions. As tight as we're going to get. As long as we don't zoom out from there on a run play going away from you, you should be fine. But kind of zoomed out on a run play going away from you. Yeah. Okay. Run right up the middle. Don't zoom out on that either. Very slight on that one. At least it was a very, very small amount of zooming. Okay, sideline to sideline, top to bottom. Spot on. Okay. Great job. 3rd and 7. This is a pass. Okay, why? Because you need 7 yards and it's 3rd down? Of course you do. Of course you threw a pass on that. And the filmer knew it and expected it and then responded accordingly as they saw it happen. And that is excellent. Whoa. %60. 60 to 65%. And that run going away from you, if you're going the opposite direction as the runner, it's going to catch up to you every time. It's going to make it so unusable from a coaching evaluation perspective. Okay? And we don't want that. We want the Ravens to be able to use this video to get better every single play, every single day, every single game, every single no play, right? All the no plays all at once, I guess. But we want to make that happen for the Ravens. We want to see Baltimore improve every single day based off of this video, right? Because the players can see it and see it better and see it as best as they possibly can. They can make the correct adjustments accordingly. And so as a filmer, we have to make the correct adjustments accordingly as well. Man, this looks good. Okay. Got a guy down here. I would be fine with him not being in the shot anymore. Just because of, you know, just because this is where it's at, right? But right there, kept everybody in the shot. Didn't zoom out to infinity. Count that as a win. Okay. Kicking another extra point. Extra points are good. The PAT. PAT is like my favorite play in football. Mainly because of the play that comes right before it. Alright. Let's go. Yeah, look at them get down the field. Good job, kickoff team. Getting off your blocks and going, making a play. I know it was a touchback, but okay. Alright. Nice. Look at that. Bam. Okay. This default extra space behind the quarterback, it shrinks everybody every single play. It's just the shrink ray of death on your team every single play. If that's the default after every single time the ball's away. Okay. Cool. Like it. Kept it within 10 yards, both directions, the whole play. Ooh. Let's go. Alright. Nice job, filmer. Okay. Alright, where are we going with this? Top corner? Top back corner of the end zone? Mm-hmm. Bottom front corner of the end zone. Kind of just like the last time we were down here, right? Okay. Nice job. There's patterns that are evolving here. Okay. Okay. Nice. Peter Bulwer. Jonathan Ogden. Ray Lewis. Nice. Okay. Well, seemed like a hurry up on that, and sometimes just getting back to show it is, win number one. Just side note, I got to see Ray Lewis's Hall of Fame speech in person. Fantastic. It was amazing. Okay? It was a highlight of my day. And that day was a highlight of, it was a bucket list moment for sure. Special shout out to Martin Peterson for making that one happen for me. The Hall of Fame induction ceremony, highly recommend if you have a chance to go there. It's well worth it. So, all right, out of 151 plays, 109 were positive. Okay, that's 72% of the time. 19% of the time was excellent, so that gives you a little bit of a bonus, pushing up to 74.04% for the Ravens for Week 8 against the Chicago Bears 2025. Best of luck for 2026. Looking forward to it. This is Cameraman Grades.